Hopefully everybody is there. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. Very nice to be back with you on this Friday for a feel-good Friday. Yes, we know it's tricky out there, isn't it? It's tough, and this is the time when we can just have a little bit of a switch off. We're going to focus on positive things. I've got some great chats coming up. I've got one of my favourite people who I want to talk to who's going to beam in and join us all the way live from Texas. So I'm not quite sure. Is that very, very early in the morning, maybe? Anyway, stay tuned because that is coming up just now. But something I've just opened in the post I wanted to share with you. You may remember that I talked about this great makeup artist a while ago who runs the makeup for Loose Women. So she's based at ITV Studios called Donna May, and she has a great female founder-led British brand. And hi there, hi Amy, you just joined us on Facebook. Very nice to have you there, thank you. Amy is obviously doing all the links on Facebook and monitoring questions and comments. You guys on Instagram, you know that we're on Linktree, so go to my bio, just click the little blue Linktree link and that'll pop up with all the discount codes and podcasts and all the rest of it. Anyway, she has just sent me some new things. So I thought this would be great because we do have a Liz Loves discount code with Donna May, but I think it's only for another week. I think it runs out at the end of October. So at the moment, Donna May, let me just check my little list, is very generously giving us a discount. I think it's at 10%. I don't seem to have her on my list here, but I'm sure that's what it is. Maybe, Amy, you can pop it on my Google Docs just so I can check. There you go, it is actually 10%. 10% off using the code LizLoves, all in capitals. So what she sent me were these really fun things that I just thought I would open up properly and share with you. So she does this really nice pink sort of leopard print. And what this is, it's not a rain hat. Well, I guess it could double up, couldn't it? It's for our makeup, and it's completely washable, wipeable, you know, spillable. And if you pull the string here, I haven't done this the first time I've used this one. I hope you guys can see it on Facebook and YouTube. If I pull the string, then it all pulls together into a lovely, really cute hold-all. Obviously it's a little bit stiff the first time you do it, but you create this little bag. So basically you're putting all your makeup in here, yeah, so it all fits in there. And if you can remember when I showed it last time, I think it was when I was doing Josh Wood, wasn't it? And I just shoved all my lovely Josh Wood products in there. So you can, it just carries a huge amount of stuff, and then when you want to unpack it, or just to access your makeup on your dressing table or wherever, you can just lay it flat. So it's all there in front of you. So no more kind of scurrying around trying to find stuff at the bottom of your makeup bag, because it's all there beautifully laid out. Anyway, sorry, that wasn't a very brilliant demo, was it? But I do think her things are brilliant. And this is the latest one, which I love. And it says here, Donna May London, no stress, no mess. When it's flat, it's a matte. We like an expression, don't we? So anyway, I'm going to pop that back in there. Thank you very much, Donna May. If you would like to grab that with your discount, I think you've only got about a week. But she's also sent me something for our times. I love her little lips that she does on these things. In here, in this little bag, are 2 face masks. And they are really comfy. I tried this one out as soon as I opened it. And what I love about it is I love the design. Look at this. Isn't that cool? Quite chic, isn't it? You know, you've got to wear a mask. You might as well wear a nice one. Really beautifully made. And I like the little lips. And this one, I've got this one which is leopard print. And this one also here, which is black and white, which is really chic. Actually goes with what I'm wearing, doesn't it? Black and white. With the red lips. There you go. Nice. How cool. Can you see my side stripe? I have to do that for Facebook so you can see. So these trousers I mentioned before, I wore them, I think on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Gosh, where is the week gone? When the lovely Zana Morris was getting me to do squats. And of course I can do them because this has got stretchy elasticated waists. This is Borken, another great ethical British brand, which I really love. And you get 20% off with Liz Loves. I think it's Liz Loves 20 at Borken. Oh, so many Liz Loves codes. We do keep everything on the website, by the way. So if you do want to know what anything is, um, then let me just check. Borken, yeah, Liz Loves 20. That's a good reminder because you get 20% off everything there. A couple of comments about my jumper. I love this. This was a treat to myself. Alas, there is no discount code on this. I bought this in the sale, I think just before Christmas, from Amanda Thebe. Love her things. What a great British designer. And it's just like a kind of a comfort blanket, really. Actually, the other comfort blanket that I've been using was this I showed earlier, my organic cotton throw. I was thinking I might have one of the founders, because this is a mum and her daughters based over in Ireland, who make these super soft organic cotton textiles, and they've again given us a discount code. And I was thinking that I might invite them onto Instagram to have a chat, because there's really interesting stuff going on behind the scenes with organic cotton and pesticide free and all of that, and ways to make things soft and sustainable and ethical and all of those things that we love. Anyhow, that was just a little by the by. I am going to hopefully be joined now by a really fun lady called Amanda Thebe, and you may know her name from Instagram. She's got a great account. It was Fish and Chips, I think, or Fit and Chips rather. And we also did a podcast together. It must be, gosh, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago now. Amy, you may find that online if you can. It'll be on our podcast archives. Because it's a really good one to listen to, because she talks a lot about her menopause journey and fitness and the importance of weight training. By the way, if you were listening to my chat with Zana Morris, we talked about creatine and using that for muscle mass, and of course immediately she sold out. It just disappeared from her website, but she's getting more in, okay? So be patient. It is coming back in at the beginning of next week, I think. So just keep looking at her website. That's Strong Nutrients. And there's another supplement that she's got on there, which I really like, called Amino Slim, which kind of the clue is in the name, which I'm hopefully going to get her back to talk about, because I think that would just be really interesting for all of us with our lockdown pounds. But anyway, let me see if Amanda, yes, she is, Fit and Chips. I'm going to add you, Amanda, and it says awaiting, because her brand new book, which has winged its way to me, is here, and it is being published, I think, tomorrow. Hello!
Hello, can you see me okay, Liz?
I can see you. And what I'm going to do is, this always happens when I split my screen, and I've got a bit of a wobbly setting on my phone. There we go. So I kind of disappear from my screen. And okay, so for everybody watching on Facebook or Instagram, I'm very sorry that you can't see Amanda unless you are watching live and want to hop over to my Instagram. But hopefully we can hear you.
Yeah, I'll leave an indelible mark on the Facebook group, don't worry.
Good. So
hello from Texas. It's 6 in the morning and it's pitch black outside still.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome to the sunny West Country. We've had the most beautiful morning, actually. I don't know what the forecast is for the rest of the day or what the weather's like where you are, but actually we've had so much rain this week, but now it's really good. And I was trying to remember when we did our podcast. Must have been 2 years ago, maybe?
It wasn't this summer, obviously. It was last summer. I came to the UK. I still have a lot of family in the northeast, and I was in London with my youngest son, and we met. And Liz got out her guns, and I did watch you do this in Morris chat. I really liked it. It was such a great one to listen to. And you were saying, my arms are different to when I was in my 20s, and I was like, get your guns out, Liz, because
I don't know if you can see.
Look at those muscles. And it's just so nice that you have this really balanced approach to health and fitness that you continue to do. And that's the thing that I love about you, is that you show that it's a continuum, that it's like a long-term strategy. It's not a get fit quick thing that you're doing. It's all about investing.
Actually, I recorded my Friday 5 podcast, which will go live a little bit later on today for those of you who like to listen to that. And I was talking to another lady who is from Sport England, talking about how to encourage, more women, particularly back into sport and exercise in general. And she was saying that, when you get to a certain age, actually sport and exercise becomes less about wanting to change your body and change your shape, and actually appreciating what your body can actually do. And, that's something that for me has just been really kind of affirming, to be able to pick up heavier weights, to be able to run up the stairs with a bit more energy. And all these little things that hopefully we talk about here are little life hacks, if you like, that people can, dip into. I'm going to be talking about kefir, for example, in a minute, but which you can add into your diet, or taking a bit of magnesium or creatine, or trying skipping or lifting a few weights. None of these things are really hard, or hopefully particularly inaccessible. And yet they all add up to a big difference, don't they?
I think that that's the problem. We've tried to overcomplicate things. My industry in particular is like the worst for it. The fitness and health industry see women of our age and during menopause, and they see opportunity, vulnerability. They see a chance to just like, let's get them with a magic pill and try and hit them with something that isn't potentially going to work for them, or give them overcomplicated exercises. And I just keep thinking, why? And actually it was one of the reasons why I wrote the book as well. I wanted to show people that despite doing this for decades, that I still like do the most simple things. My exercise routines are really quite basic and they still work. My nutrition isn't complicated. We both do it together.
This is Amanda. Okay, this is who I'm talking to. Isn't that amazing? So this is called Menopocalypse. And is it being published tomorrow?
Sunday, World Menopause Day.
World Menopause Day.
We need a day. Yeah.
It's witty, it's informative, it's evidence-based, it's very much talking about, being strong, which is what we all need in so many ways, mentally, physically, emotionally strong. And being very positive. But can you just talk us through a little bit about your journey? Because in fact, we first connected on Instagram. That was, one of the highlights of social media, I think, is being able to find really interesting people. And that's how we started kind of literally chatting online, didn't we? And then we met in real life to record the podcast. But your journey was so interesting. Tell us a little bit about how you started with the whole menopause thing.
Menopause thing, yeah. When you always know you want to write a book, I mean, of course you do, because you've written about 4.5, 5, and I always wanted to write a book about travel, and I ended up writing one about menopause. So there you go. Who knew that would happen? Somebody's just saying there they couldn't understand why I couldn't see Amanda wasn't on Facebook. I understand that you're doing a Facebook Live at the same time, yeah. Okay? And so I was in the fitness industry from being in my 20s. In the UK, at the time, I did my personal training at Loughborough University, which is you can only do personal training as a diploma through them. It was like ages ago. Now you can get a weekend certification, but I feel like back then, in 20 odd years ago, it was quite robust, and it was always a passion. It wasn't my work. I worked for IBM, and then I moved to the US, and it became my business. So I have a fitness business. It's going well. I'm in my early 40s. I'm smug because I'm thinking, look at me.
You look great. You're super fit.
Yeah, all of those things. And then I just got unwell. And for about 2 years, I was unwell with no answers. And that's sort of where I think everybody's stories collide. I think, we've heard this a million times. So the main issues I had were, as well as chronic fatigue, which doesn't seem like it's a big deal. It was, especially with the work I was doing. I had vertigo, migraines, and depression. Although the depression wasn't recognizable to me, that's what it was diagnosed as later.
Interesting. So many women I'm hearing are having dizzy spells and vertigo. It seems really common in perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing for me, because the migraines sort of last 2 or 3 days, and then you have like a hangover of nausea and dizziness, and sometimes I was crawling on the floor on my hands and knees. It was just really a really terrible way to live, and my quality of life and those around me suffered. And I went to so many specialists, had MRI scans, CAT scans. You know, there was a whole team of people behind me. I think who genuinely cared and wanted me to get better because they could see I wasn't well. But nobody ever once joined all of those dots and looked at the big menopause picture and said, this is all of these symptoms together show me that you're in perimenopause. And so I was actually at the point of despair. Even my marriage and my relationship with my children was suffering. And I went to my routine gynecology test. A few of them well woman clinics over there where you go once a year, you get your pap smear and all of those things. And the gynecologist just recognized it straight away and said, I can help you. These symptoms are valid. I hear you. And, let's get you, let's get you well again. And that was the first time when I was 42, 43-year-old, I'd heard the word perimenopause. I'd never even heard the word before. Thank goodness, it's all we hear now. And so that sent me down the menopause rabbit hole, basically. And so now I'm at the stage where I've written quite a lot of articles about it, but usually from a fitness and health point of view, rather from like a symptomatic, my memoir type background. I just really write so that I can show women that, I am a fitness professional and I have invested time and energy in my body, but I still got slammed with the big menopause wrecking ball.
And how quickly did you, sorry to interrupt you, how quickly did you manage to fix it and what did you do?
Well, this was like 6-7 years ago now, as I'm about to turn 50 next week. It was in my early 40s, and the gynecologist, completely clued up, turned around to me and said, so the first line treatment I can offer you is hormone replacement therapy. And I went, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to take those. You're trying to give me cancer. That's what was going on in my head. And he went, he said, well, then the second thing I can offer you is an antidepressant. He said, and that will help with some of the symptoms because there's off-label benefits that will help with your migraines and vasomotor symptoms, the hot flashes, which I've never had. And so I took those and they did make me feel better because I was struggling with depression and my migraines were managed with them. But then I got all the other perimenopause symptoms. I got vaginal atrophy. The incontinence was crazy every time I went for a run. And I just started struggling with my sleep. And by this time, though, 2 years on, I'd already found experts. I'd done my research. I felt confident, went on to hormone replacement therapy, and that was my answer. Somebody asked, did I go on bioidentical or body identical? In the US, it's the same. We just don't call it that. Yeah. We have unregulated and regulated.
Exactly. That's what we have here.
I wouldn't dream of going on anything that was mixed with sawdust. I just don't understand why I would spend hundreds of dollars for something I could get for $6 on my health insurance.
Yeah, no. Here, I mean, there's just to sort of interject there is this mix-up of terms, bioidentical and body identical. It can be the same thing. The key thing is whether it's regulated or unregulated. In the old days, the HRT, the estrogen part, used to come from pregnant horses' wee. And in fact, that the tablet was called Premarin, pregnant mare's urine, Premarin. Now, the most of the modern HRT is transdermal, as you know, Amanda, so it goes through the skin. It's a gel or a spray or a patch. It all comes from wild yams, so it's botanically derived. It's totally body identical or bioidentical, whichever term you want to use. But it is regulated and safe, and lots of major, large-scale, randomised controlled studies and all of that. Proving that differs from the extremely expensive profiteering private clinics who are selling unregulated, compounded, which, as you say, could be mixed with all sorts of different things that we don't know because it doesn't say so on the label. And you don't need to spend huge amounts of money, and nor should you, because there have been no trials to show that the progesterone component of that, for example, gives enough protection against uterine cancer. So that's a whole other thing which you can find out about in my Truth About HRT e-guide. So I'm very pleased that we're obviously singing from the same hymn sheet here, and it's similar, is it, in America?
Oh, sorry, Liz. I actually have a copy of that e-guide and recommend it to all of my community groups that I have because it's
Thank
just
you.
so practical. And basically, the North American Menopause Society and the British Menopause Society are singing from the same hymn book. You know, nobody's veering from that message.
No.
And the only difference is the testosterone is a little bit harder to get here. It's
hard here too.
Yeah, and somebody asked if I take it. No, I didn't. I don't feel like I need it actually. So I didn't. I never even asked for it.
Yeah, interesting. So tell us about your book and how. So you've gone through this journey. You've had this personal experience. You're back working as a personal trainer. You've got an amazing Instagram account, which I urge everybody to follow if you're on Instagram because you're so motivational.
A little bit rude as well. Sorry, I'm just
Bit rude. Bit rude. Yeah, warning. But things like I like the illustrations that you've got, and you are really, I think, also pioneering in that you're encouraging middle-aged women like me, and I'm quite a bit older than you, to take up weight training, to actually lift weights. So talk us through that, because I think so many of us would think, well, I'm not lifting weights because A, I'm not strong enough, and B, I don't want to bulk up. I don't want to be bulky and have these huge bulging muscles. How does weight training work for midlife women?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. And I think I'll sort of follow on from Zaina Morris's sort of segment because she definitely touched on it, and I love that, right? Like, she's definitely a pioneer for women moving and being strong, and so like I want to encourage women to do strength training, but it isn't the only thing they have to do. But I'll sort of tell you why I want to encourage it. And the first thing is as well is something, just to go back to what you said, is that it's a phenomenon that's been recognized in the psychological world that women in midlife, we get faced with so many problems, as well as the menopause symptoms that may impact our life. It's just a big crux in our life. We could be going through empty nesting, in the squeeze sandwich generation. It's the time of highest divorce rates. There's so much going on in our lives that we start to recognize things like boredom or lack of confidence or not enjoying ourselves or really just not recognizing the person we are. And so what we then see is that as far as doing something new or trying something new, women innately lack a belief in their athletic ability. They stop thinking they can do things. And I've seen it with my own eyes with my clients. I'll encourage them to do something knowing they're capable, but in their mind the women say, no, I can't do that. I could have done it when I was 20. And so part of the reason for encouraging women to do strength training is what it does to you from an emotional perspective as well as a physical perspective. And you see that too. As soon as you start exercising, what does it do to your self-esteem?
Absolutely. I did a quick workout online with Michael Gary this morning at home. He got me lifting weights. I did more repetitions than I've ever done before. I mean, only 2 more, but it was like my personal best. I smashed it. And, he was watching me online and going, yes, Liz, that's great. And, I did feel a bit rubbish when I woke up. I didn't have the most brilliant night's sleep. And yet it just put me in this really positive frame of mind. I felt proud of myself. I felt appreciative of my body, that I could get it to do this. I feel physically and mentally and emotionally stronger. There is that kind of analogy, I guess, of when you are lifting a physical weight, it does something inside your head that makes you think, I'm strong, I can do this, I'm resilient. And I mean, heck, we all need a lot of resilience right now, don't we?
It turns you into a warrior. That's literally what it does.
A warrior, not a worrier, a warrior.
Yeah. The northern accent might get translated, a warrior, like an invincible warrior, And it's true. All of those things are true. And so I truly believe that everybody has an entry point into exercise. So if you've never exercised before, you can start any place. And there's so many benefits to doing that we'll talk about. But just the fact that, you actually get the thought in your head that you can do it, then that can change you need to set yourself up for success before you even start. That's my thing. I have had moments as well through perimenopause and through COVID where it wasn't very well and but I had enough energy to do something. And I like to do fitness snacking. And I know you said that you did like a 16-minute workout. Well, I like highly encourage women to just dip the toe in the water, like,
5 minutes 10, even. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Because that builds up curiosity, and curiosity builds up motivation. Motivation doesn't just happen. You have to sort of like do little small actionable steps to make it happen. And so this workout in the book is both a beginner's entry point, and I show you how to do that. And then I also show you how to pimp it up if you're sort of already fit and strong and want to, try something new. But, we also know that, like, you talked about, we say creatine, you say creatine, but you spoke about creatine as an additional energy source for women.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, the evidence, most of the studies have been done on young men, of course, because that's always the way it is. But there's evidence to show that there isn't a detrimental effect for women. In fact, it can aid them, especially if you do actually do a strength workout. I personally don't take it, but I feel strong enough. I think it's a valid supplement to take. I don't take lots of supplements, but that's one I would give a thumbs up to, for sure. Yeah. And also, coming on to the next thing, you talked about the amino acids. Well, amino acids simply are the breakdown state of protein. And so what happens as we age is our protein needs change, and menopause sort of accelerates that as well. So if you want to do strength training and build lean body mass, build muscle, I'll talk about the bigness side in a minute, but like to encourage yourself to get strong, you need to eat adequate protein to allow something called muscle protein synthesis. So muscle protein synthesis simply means how you break down muscle protein in your food to build muscle to prevent muscle wastage, sarcopenia, which you spoke about the other day too. Yeah. And so sarcopenia happens mainly through aging and inactivity. They're the two reasons you lose muscle. So even if you're a sedentary person and don't even walk, then you're definitely going to have an increased rate of sarcopenia. If you're an active person who moves most days, chances are your sarcopenia won't be as accelerated. So the rate is, it changes depending on you as a person, but it's pretty significant. So strength training and eating protein are two ways you can fight sarcopenia and also improve osteopenia/osteoporosis, right? Which are both things are accelerated with menopause.
So would you say then that to get some dumbbells and some light weights and just to start somewhere and then build up? I mean, what sort of weights are we talking about here?
Well, I don't know what the situation with the dumbbells is in the UK, but we sold out in the US. Because of the pandemic, right? But if you've got some dumbbells, so for me in the book, I suggest 2 sets of dumbbells only. And that's a weight that you can lift overhead for 8 to 10 reps, so a moderate weight. That might look, you do kilos now, but that would be like 8 to 12 pounds, so maybe 4 to 6 kilos.
Yeah, mine that I do bicep curls with weights, and they are 6 kilos.
Yeah, okay, so like a 4 to 6 kilo range. Yeah. And then a heavier one to do lower body work because you are capable. Yeah. That might be in the 15 to 20 pound, which I think is going to be like a 10 kilo. I'm trying to do the maths. Yeah. But women are like, I can't lift that much. And I'm saying, I've just seen you walk out of the supermarket with 20 shopping bags. And I know you can do it. You just have to believe that you can. Yeah. And but strength training is to me super important, and I dig into other reasons like how it can help reduce hot flashes and night sweats. There's been 2 major studies done last year that have shown that either if you're perimenopausal or post-menopausal. So it's never too late to start and never too late to begin afterwards.
Yeah.
Building up lean muscle and starting a resistance training can reduce those type of symptoms by up to 70%. Yeah. It's significant.
It's really significant. So, I mean, it's physical health and bone density, and we know that osteoporosis is such a killer. And we need to build, back into our bones as much as we can, or certainly prevent further degradation. But also the mental health, the mental side of things is really significant too, isn't it? So many of us are really suffering with increased rates of anxiety and just that overwhelmed feeling.
Yeah, right now it's just horrible, right? And the idea that you may have to go back into lockdown again. I was reading some of the comments as you were talking, and women are saying that they're feeling glum. They've woke up today feeling really down on themselves, and really, it's just a really hard time. Well, you have a pandemic and menopause at the same time. It's like not pretty.
That's the perfect storm, isn't it? Yeah. So I think what I love about this community and the things that we talk about here these are things that can all help to lift. There's the community chat, obviously, that's going on. There's the sharing of knowledge and ideas. There's the motivation. I mean, what a picture for motivation. That is like, go out and let's go do this. And I recorded this podcast, which will go out later today, my Friday 5, and I was talking to Kate Dale, who has set up this organisation called This Girl Can. And she was saying, This Girl Can, it's a great website. Go and check it out. And she was saying what she says to people is go out for a 10-minute walk, and people say, oh, I can't do that, or, go out for a walk. And she'll say, just go out. If you don't like it after 10 minutes, come back. And she said, nobody does. Because once you're actually out there, you say, okay, I'll give it 10 minutes and then we'll see. But of course, by the time you're out and you are just breathing in different air and you are under the clouds and the sky, even if it's raining, you're connecting with the outdoors, and it just takes you out of yourself a bit.
Well, I love that advice, and I talk about exercise as a whole in the book, not just strength training, and walking is one of the most studied activities on the planet. And there are no downsides to walking. So you think about the impact on joints. It's so good for your joints. And women have sore joints all the way through perimenopause. That's one of the biggest complaints they hear about. They can't run anymore. It hurts. Walking's so good for your health, your heart, your mental state, and fat loss. Usually fat loss programs work because you've included active movement every day. Yeah. Right? And walking is the one that's being studied for that. And we have something, when people talk about metabolism in menopause and metabolism as we age, I often don't think they truly understand what that means. And you'll have like health gurus saying, oh, your metabolism slows down in menopause. And it's sort of not entirely true. That's not a true message. Metabolism does change all the way through your life. It slows down as you age. It definitely slows down through menopause, but not probably to the amount that you think. Maybe like the amount of maybe a cookie, like maybe 200 calories, 300. It's not like it slows down by like 500, 600 calories. It's not massive, but it's significant enough that you can't expect the way you've done things before to continue to work when your body's continually shifting and changing. And a really easy thing you can do is walking, because even on my diet days when I just didn't want to get off the couch, if I did that 10-minute walk, like I just was a different person afterwards. I still might have been tired, but felt significantly better.
Yeah. Well, on that positive note, we shall love you and leave you. So this is out this weekend, but we can get it over here, can't we? We can get it presumably on all the usual online providers and independent bookshops.
Amazon.co.uk. It's in its second run now.
Is it really?
So I'm excited. I really hope that, like, it isn't just a memoir. It isn't just about woe is me, it was really horrible. I actually wanted to talk about experiences and solutions, and I want it to be, it is a positive book. It's not.
It is. There's lots about here. I'm just reading one of the end chapters here about building resilience and also getting some sleep. And you say how to de-stress, in brackets, calm the F down and get some sleep.
I told you I was a bit rude.
Listen, thank you so very, very much. A huge love and luck with it. And of course, happy
Thanks,
World
Liz.
Menopause Day for Sunday.
Yes, thank you. Happy World Menopause Day. Thanks for having me on. You look great. I've got
Thank
my
you.
Liz Earle concealer on, by the way.
Oh, have you? Oh, well done. Well, it's not mine
Well,
anymore, but you know.
No, I mean your method. You
Oh,
told
the method of popping it here. Absolutely. So have I. I've got loads of concealer on.
2 years ago you said that, and it happens every day now.
I'm glad you
Take
listened.
care.
And you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Oh, fantastic. I have to always be so careful, don't I, to remove just Amanda and not everybody else. Wasn't that just so uplifting and inspiring? And it is really true. If you don't feel like doing anything, saying, I'm not getting out there, I don't fancy a walk, just say, right, I'll do it. I'll set my watch. 10 minutes. I'll give it 10 minutes. And then you may well be out for a little bit longer. So other things that we can add into our diet. Obviously, I've talked about so many things over the years, but one of the things, particularly when we're talking about mental health, is having more probiotics. And this is something that I come back to time and time again, because we know that our gut is linked to our brain, and our gut is making the vast majority of all our serotonin, which is our happy chemical. So it's the happy hormone that makes us feel positive and uplifted. So we need as much serotonin as we can get our hands on. So looking after our gut health, making sure that we're having things like plain live yogurt, kefir. I know loads of you have got my Good Gut box. So we do still have that. And I know that they went out of stock for a while because we had to make some more scobies. So you get kombucha in your Good Gut box. But the lovely guys at Freshly Fermented, who've been putting that together for the team and me here at Earle Wellbeing, they have now got the scobies. So do check that out if you want to. If you want to make your own yogurt, or you want to make your own kefir or kombucha or creme fraiche, or all those lovely fermented things. But for those who don't want to make their own for whatever reason, or you just think, I just want to try it, one of the brands that I've talked about before, which I really like, and it was one of the early female founder-led brands, it's called Nourish Kefir. I've talked about them a lot. I think they've got a mention in my Good Gut Guide book, which was published, 4 years ago now. Started by a lovely lady called Deborah Carr, and I recorded a podcast with her. So if you want to know all about kefir, please take a listen. Would you please, Amy, kindly pop the link on Facebook? If you just go onto my archive podcast, you'll find it. Just put, Liz Earle, Deborah, or Liz Earle Kefir. Then it should just ping up. And you can find it. But she started a company called Nourish Kefir, which produced these little bottles that you might find in some supermarkets or health food shops. And she's got lots of different flavours now. She's also got a goat version, which I really like. She sent me some to try. We do have a Liz Loves discount, which is really good. So thank you very much, Deborah, for that. 15% off. All on Nourish Kefir if you use Liz Loves, all in capitals. And this is what I do. Okay, so when I travel, not going to be able to travel so much, but if I'm travelling or I want to make my own kefir, then this is what I take with me. So these are the starter cultures that you can get from Nourish Kefir. And if I open this pack up, I'll show you how they come. They come in little paper sachets like this. So I've got, there's 2 here, so you just cut one sachet at a time. You mix it with some milk, and you can use whichever milk you like. So I always use whole milk. Don't believe in semi-skimmed or skim milk, because whole milk is relatively low fat anyway. It's only about 3.5–4% fat. So, and it's got all the goodness that we need to build our hormones and our bones and our calcium and all of that. So lots of reasons. So I use a nice quality milk, an organic milk, and then I just leave that overnight. You mix it together, leave it overnight, and bingo, it turns itself into kefir. It's like magic. It's so easy to do. And you can add in a little bit of probiotic powder if you want. You can, make it with goat's milk if you want to. You could make it with a plant milk, something like, soy milk or oat milk, if you wanted to, it's not going to be as effective. And the reasons for that I've explained before is that the kefir, the good bacteria in the kefir, they feed on the lactose that's in milk. That's why you need to use an animal-based milk when you're making real kefir. Interestingly, the digestion of the bacteria when they make the kefir make it virtually lactose-free. So even those who are lactose intolerant or lactose sensitive find that they can have normal milk kefir because the bacteria have digested and fermented all the lactose. That's what they do with it. They use that milk sugar. So I've got some here which I thought I might just try in real life so that we can just have a bit of a tasting going on. So this is the one that I know. This is the natural plain one. Oh, quite fizzy. That's a good thing. You want it to be fizzy because it's active. You don't want it to spill everywhere like I did on national television with my kombucha, which just kind of exploded. I don't know if you remember that. I defy you not to love that. It's not fizzy, it's not sour, it's not tangy. It's just like a really delicious, creamy, sweet yoghurt. So here we go. This is strawberry. It's all organic, which I love. Give that a bit of a shake. This is organic cow's milk with real kefir, agave nectar and organic strawberries and beetroot. So I think my children would like this. I do try and get my children to drink kefir every day as well. Look at that pretty colour. Very nice. And then lastly, I've got here, this is a good one, blueberry and pomegranate. So if you are making your own from your sachets, then of course you could whiz up a little bit of strawberry. You wouldn't need very much. You need 2 or 3 strawberries maybe, mashed into it. Or this is blueberry and pomegranate. You could have some pomegranate juice if you wanted and just add that into it. So that's a pretty colour too. Oh, that's very sweet actually. It's funny, isn't it? When you stop having sweet things, you really notice just how sweet certain things are. Yeah, I think my children would definitely go for that. And something else that they might want to go for this weekend, if I don't tell them what it is, obviously, is my menopause cake. So as I said, it is World Menopause Day on Sunday. So I'm sure so many of us are following so many people who are kind of meno warriors in this space and doing so much. So there's going to be lots and lots on social media. You'll probably get, find a real overload potentially, but there's lots and lots of great resources. And one of the things that I did not that long ago, a few days ago, is record something with Davina McCall and Lorraine Kelly to support the launch of the Menopause charity. And you'll find it on Davina's Instagram. She's got her fitness Instagram, which is Own Your Goals Davina. And if you head over there on Sunday, you'll be able to click to join this whole Menopause Day that she's doing, which is just great because, the more people who've got, a huge public profile that can start talking about this. And she talks about the injustice of women just not having access to good information, evidence-based information, and recognising symptoms, like Amanda was saying. So many different things, dizziness, vertigo. For me, I had tinnitus in my ears. I wasn't sleeping. I don't think I've ever really had a hot flush. That's not been a symptom for me, but lots and lots of other symptoms. And of course, achy joints. I've got several friends who've been told that they needed to go and see, rheumatologists because of their achy joints. And actually all they needed to do was have a bit more estrogen. So there's going to be lots and lots of chat about that. We are joined, of course, by the amazing Dr. Louise Newson. So it's a 4-way conversation, Lorraine, Davina, Louise and myself. And we talk really openly about our personal background and kind of what made us become so impassioned to want to share information and empower everybody. And of course, part of that journey will be the setting up of the Menopause charity. So I'm really thrilled to say I looked at the crowdfunder website last night and they are 92% there with their initial funding. So if you've got a few pounds spare, please, even a few pennies, just be part of the group, the sisterhood that's going to help to fund it. Because one of the things that they're going to do is create a helpline that anybody can ring and talk to properly trained medical professionals to get good information and advice on how to talk to GPs, how to recognise symptoms, how perhaps to get help for a partner or your mum or your sister or your colleague, just to spread this word, and also to fund research, because we know that women's health research is just the poor relation when it comes to research. There are some really shocking statistics which make me really enraged, so I'm not going to go into that in great detail now, but it's such a great initiative. And I should say, for all you lovely people on Instagram, if you do follow the Menopause Doctor, really bad news, she got hacked. Her Instagram account was hacked and deleted. And those of you who followed her for a long time, like me, will know that every single day she posted a really, really good evidence-based medical Instagram post that gave resources and help and information, and that is currently lost. So I sincerely hope that Instagram are able to reinstate it. In the meantime, she is posting from the Meno charity Instagram, which is the Instagram that's going to be for the menopause charity, so that you will find her there. So please do follow her there and give her a wave and a hug, because she's had a really terrible time. And it really just made me go and check all my settings, I have to say. And, they say you've got to turn on this two-factor authentication, and that is a way to stop hackers kind of getting into your account. So it's really worth beefing up your security, changing passwords regularly, doing all of those things, which I know are really time-consuming, but actually not as time-consuming and as tedious as getting your account broken into. So anyway, sending Louise lots of love for that, and I hope that we will be able to get her original account back very soon. Before I go, there's a few questions here and a few comments. Oh, Amy, you've just reminded me. We do still have just a few subscription gifts. So this is the current magazine. It's not going to be out for much longer because we've got the new one coming soon. But if you like this and you haven't subscribed yet, or you'd want to gift it to a friend, then there's a really good deal where you get a month's supply of the Super Me Plus supplement from Life Armour. And that's the one that's full of magnesium. It's got ashwagandha, and ashwagandha is this really interesting adaptogenic herb. And interestingly, I gave Lily some, my Lily, who is having such issues with an autoimmune disorder and chronic migraine. And she was saying that she was feeling a little bit better, possibly because of the ashwagandha. So that's an interesting herb, isn't it, to look at. I've had a few questions about magnesium just before I go. So there are lots of different types of magnesium. Naked Pharmacy is one that I love. And yes, you do still get your discount. Naked Pharmacy, it's Liz Loves 20, and that gives you 20% off. I'll just double check that on my list. Yeah, Liz Loves 20 for 20% off Naked Pharmacy. They have got very interesting supplements because they have a marine magnesium that they combine with other things. So I think theirs is combined with turmeric, which has also got lots of interesting properties. And then last week I was talking to Emma Ellis-Flint, the amazing nutritionist who works also at the Menopause Clinic. And she again was talking about the importance of magnesium. And that again is one of those supplements that I do think it's worth midlife women looking into, because magnesium is just implicated in so many body processes. And of course, it's really important for helping to unlock and utilise vitamin D, which is something that we all need so much of at the moment, especially if you haven't got much sunshine around. And vitamin D, of course, is shown to help lessen the severity of COVID symptoms if you are unlucky enough to get it, and really important for helping to keep bones strong, so very good for osteoporosis prevention, and as well as being very good for overall immunity and immune support. So magnesium, it comes in lots of different shapes and sizes, and I talked about the magnesium supplement that Newson Health have, and they've got two versions. So this is one that I take, the Berry C complex, and this, as its name suggests, has got vitamin C in it. It's also got pomegranate and blueberry and plums, which is really nice. And then the other one is the Magnesium Plus. This is 3 different versions of magnesium, so you're kind of really getting a scattergun approach there. And it's also got B vitamins in, which are really good for stress, B complex. So there was a comment, I think, on Facebook about, oh my goodness, which one to take? It's all so confusing. Well, do you know what? I take a little bit of each. And it works out at the same cost because they obviously last longer. So if I've got 3 pots on the go, it's going to last 3 times as long as having 1 pot. And I just know that if I take this one, then I'm getting my B vitamins with it as well, which is great because they're very good for stress and for the nervous system. The berry C complex is giving me my vitamin C and also some immune support from things like pomegranate and blueberry. And then the one from Naked Pharmacy has got the turmeric in it. So for me, the more I learn about magnesium and the more I hear about it, and also helping with stress, anxiety, just having to calm everything down. Magnesium is kind of a mighty mineral for that, and helping with sleep as well. So anyway, do take a look. We've got lots of features online. If you want to read up a little bit more about it, then you can just head over to lizearlewellbeing.com, put in magnesium, and there are some really interesting articles if you want to read a bit more. You can also follow Emma Ellis Flint. She's on Facebook and she's also on Instagram. So I hope that's really helpful. I'm just going to leave you with one more thing before I go, and that is my menopause cake. It's Friday. It's Feel Good Vibes Day. It's Let's Eat Cake Day. Okay, so this is my menopause cake. And it started off as a bit of fun, really, because it was a way to break the ice. You know, if you want to have a conversation about menopause with your girlfriends, with other members of your family, perhaps colleagues at work, you know, wherever, and, you know, whether you're seeing or meeting people virtually or in real life, then this is something that you can talk about. And it meant to be an icebreaker. I'm glad to say that these days, since my menopause book was published, what was it now, 3 years ago, nearly 4 years ago, we need less of an icebreaker. It's much easier to talk about menopause and perimenopause. It's you know, I guess it's like in the old days when people wouldn't even say the word pregnancy, you know, and then it's just like so normal. Now you go, well, why wouldn't you say, you know, that you're pregnant? It's like, what kind of stigma is attached to that? Or, you know, secrecy. And, you know, I think that the same is true of menopause. Hopefully it's just becoming a word. A normal word, a normal part of life, you know, especially for all women, because all women will have a menopause at some time or another, if they live long enough, obviously. So anyway, this is super delicious. It does contain phytoestrogens, so I've made it with soya flour and soya milk. You don't have to use that. You can use regular milk and regular flour. And I've used stem ginger, so that really nice stem ginger that you get in syrup, and that gives it that bit of sweetness. It's got lots of linseeds in it and just good things. And you can either eat it just plain like this with a cup of tea, which I'm going to be doing in just a moment, or you can toast it. It toasts really well. Slice it quite thinly if you make it, and then I keep it in the freezer, and then I just take out a slice at a time, pop it in the toaster, and because it's got all that lovely ginger in it, it's just a really nice autumn thing as well. So just put lots of butter on it or whatever, or just have it plain. Anyway, that is it for now. Don't forget, because it's Friday, I hope everybody is signed up to get the Liz Earle Wellbeing newsletter. This comes free of charge into your inbox every Friday afternoon. We've got lots of good things in there to share, so do make sure that you're signed up to it if you're not already. I think you need to be on the list by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because then Amy will be pressing the button to send it out. I think it goes out at about 4 o'clock. So if you haven't received yours, do check your spam folder. Heaven forbid that I should end up in junk, but it is really good, and it's just a nice resource to get on a regular basis. I've also got my Friday 5, of course, which is about to go live. Hopefully you will enjoy that if you like your weekend podcasts. I've got my vlog now on YouTube. That comes out every Thursday, so if you haven't yet watched that, you might want to have a little watch. That will be on the Liz Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. And just lots more, lots online, lots happening. So stay tuned over the weekend. Mary on Facebook, Naked Pharmacy. Yes, Naked Pharmacy, which is Liz Loves 20. Just use 20 as in the numbers, and Liz Loves all in capitals. If you want to find any of the Liz Loves discount codes, by the way, just go to Liz Earle Wellbeing and just put in Liz Loves and they will all pop up. There are so many now. We're getting more and more and more, which is really lovely things to share. I'll be back with you on Monday live, so have a great weekend. Stay well, stay happy, sending lots and lots of love, and so many questions. I'll come back and answer as many as I can on my comments and on Facebook as well. Bye-bye.